Uh, yes, I'm Margaret Windsor. The name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, Peggy Childers on the YouTubes, and Facebook is Peggy Ann Childers. Of course, I put my father's photograph, King Edward VIII, on my account profiles. So it's easy to find. And where I ran in a political campaign in '83, October, to replace one of the U.S. congressmen I had written about, and his plane went down. I'm giving you a little background because I hope someone can see this and understand what I'm going through. I know they do, but maybe perhaps not all of it. Now then, uh, this doctor's plane went down in October of '83, and it was the KAL Korean jet from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. It was odd. It was a takedown of the passenger plane, and Richard Nixon, oddly enough, was on that plane and taken off prior to takeoff. And supposedly Congressman Larry McDonald, doctor, went down with 296 passengers and drowned. It was made to appear that way. I'm giving this to try to. I was writing the book MD A License to Kill, and did not at the time know that, or could not remember, my kidnapping. My father's Edward VIII, who was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, and history has been changed and slaughtered my father. He never abdicated. It was a double that abdicated. He never married Wallace Simpson. He was American Spies, who she is. He married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor. Now, all of this has been, I was kidnapped, let me say this, I was kidnapped in 41, age 2, born in 39. And because of attachments my father had made, because they were taking him down, and there is a YouTube the plot to take down King Edward VIII. It doesn't at all tell all of this, but it gives you the gist of some of it. So then they had to kidnap me, because my father had made it, should he have an heir, the heir would inherit if he was forced to abdicate. But he didn't do the abdication speech, okay? So I'm going to leave it there because I'm in pretty bad shape. Me and my sons have been through a hell in this country that is so ludicrous. I just want to mention this again because it pertains to a little bit, perhaps, what happened to me today. May the 6th of 2012, I remember very well, a person I knew who supposedly was helping me so I didn't have to pay for cabs and help me go and get the few groceries I could afford. But he would take me out to the campground or up on the trail and let me off when things got so bad with fumes, and I'm allergic to chemicals. And I want to inject this. I should never have had this problem. It's been totally done to me, and someone who lived at Edinburgh Square, Carol Rogers, Simon, she was married to a psychiatrist out of Seattle, a Jew, and what she was doing there, living at Edinburgh, it was low income, and I don't know. You can guess too. She told me that I was paying for the crimes my relatives did by being gassed. This has gone on, and people, I can't get it into court. The law does what they're told to, and I'm left afraid that I would die like Anastasia was killed up in Charlottesville, and that was Anastasia in '84. Now I want to get back to this. I'm going to put his name up, and he did take me out to the trails and let me off at times. I'm not sure he really did me a favor, even though it looks that way. Now I'm going to go to May the 6th of '79. I lived at the Quality Inn. on Third Lane Road in Roanoke County, Roanoke, Virginia, not far from where I'm at now. Okay, he was helping me there when well, if I would need to go to the doctor, he did that too some. And I'm not going to say who he worked for. He got plenty of money for what the involvement with me and supposedly helping me. His name was, oh my God, I'm going to forget his name. Oh, jeez. He lived on Windsor Street here in Roanoke. Take note of the Windsor Street. I can't believe I can't think of his name. Anyway, because of chemicals being used on me and make me deathly ill, and I should live a normal life, is when they're forced in close quarters on me, that I get sick and react with inflammation, etc., etc. Now, it was being done there. Nobody pays for the crimes. I had taken videos of mold and mildew in the air conditioning units and horrible. I mean, on the outside it looked pretty normal unless you were living there. So I put some of it up and what was happening to me and sent it to Channel 7, CBS affiliate local here in Roanoke, Virginia. And they handed it out to one of their reporters. He contacted where I was living. Of course, that was the wrong thing to do. He should have come to me. And I can't think of his name right at the moment. But anyway, he told me to get groceries that night, and I remember he stopped in Bojangles and picked me up a Coke and some chicken and brought me back, and he brought a few groceries in. He's supposed to leave. He never stays. He's not invited to stay. Instead, he sat down in front of me on a stool. He pulled it out, and he says, "Do you want the rest of your Coke?" And he picked up my phone, which I didn't like. He reached over and picked it up. And I says, well, he offered me my Coke, which I assumed it was mine. He had one too, and he handed it to me. I looked at him, and that's the last thing I knew, and that was about 7 o'clock. And I put this up on video many times, but I've got so many. So anyway, that was about 7:30 on a Friday evening, May the 6th, 2012. Quality Inn, Third Lane Road here. Now, I did not remember. I could elaborate on this. Some people would know exactly what I'm talking about, what they did to me. So my life has been in peril. I don't know how I live other than I've been so determined, and I love my children, and I hope and pray I see them again and they're okay. So this is my driving force. Now, this reporter did try to help, but he was stopped. But that night, I was given, I don't remember anything, from 7 o'clock till 3:30, I believe it was, or it was 3:30 in the morning, when this person who should not have been there, have stayed, had to have put something in my Coke. And I was out from 7:30 or 7 Friday evening until the next morning in the morning at about 3:30, because he was leaving when I woke up, and I was sitting on the edge of the bed. And the bed was made up and everything, but he was coming out of the bathroom and just walked through the door and out. Now then, that Monday morning, the manager at the Quality Inn told me that the video I had put up was no longer there, that it had been deleted, the one to Channel 7, showing the mold, mildew, and all this stuff, trying to explain what was happening and get some help. So now then, I'm just going to mention his first name, Robert. I'm not sure who he works for. I trusted him. He was a good guy. I know he was FBI, but I'm thinking for reasons other than that he was my friend and British. Anyway, I knew about the missing time, and I knew Robert tried to help me, so I would call a number, and it would say Dylan here, and they would give my request to speak with Robert, and Robert would call me back later. Now then, this time he called me back, and I told him, he said he already knew. Uh, he said, it's what they put in you, up in you. Now, this took how long that I was there, and I can tell you that I am pretty sure, and I'm doing this because my life is has been in peril for a long time, and I thank God there are a few people that are hanging in there trying to help me. Most people here in this country don't care. Well, I'm British, so what? My mom's an American, so what? Now, okay, well, give me a minute. Okay, Robert called me back and said, it's what they put up in me. Now, I'm going to go to this. So what did they put up in me? He didn't say. I knew they put something because I felt bad down there. Okay, they had me out for how long? From about 8 o'clock at least till the next morning at 3:30 a.m. Now, I had recently, because my MD suggested, or I was almost threatened if I didn't go, that I wasn't making good choices. So, I went to my gynecologist, and it was my understanding my bladder had dropped. It had dropped before, but been tacked up, and it dropped again. And so I went to the gynecologist, and he checked me, and I'm not going to get graphic, but it's my understanding he said he checked me, and he didn't say this. It was more left that I had, I can't even tell it. Something was shoved up my rectum, okay? And I was having problems all this time. I thought it was my bladder. Now, the two doctors I saw later, and God knows I don't mean them any pain, that gynecologist, it was his office at Lewis Gale up here. I never saw him again. Two different doctors. I did go back and try to have I forgot what you call, I was sure he took something out of me. Just like Robert had said, they put something in me. So now, this is back, that was 2000 and, what did I say, 12. So now this is this past year now. This is 2nd of January. Okay, I went twice, and again, to this gynecologist, and two other doctors that I'd never seen before that weren't supposed to be there, but they were good. I can't say they were blonde, and I've had this happen before, and they're nice to me. But I couldn't keep it up in me because I thought I was allergic, perhaps, to the item, what it was made of, that they put up in me. And there was really no reason, because then they told me that had been a lie about my bladder falling again, that it was perfectly intact. So I don't know what exactly all this entailed, other than my thoughts were they took this item out of my rectum, and now I feel okay. All right? What was his name? I can't remember his name. I'm making this so that someone, I hope, is able to see what I'm going through. And I know they do to a degree. But it's scary, not just to me, but to other people, to someone who really tries to help me, I know. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it here and hope they get to see it, and I hope it helps. And I can't remember his name. I should. I knew it very well. But he lived on Windsor Street here in Roanoke. that was there that night, and I was knocked out with, I don't know what he put in the Coke, and I do know where they put me. Let me put this first. That night when I was knocked out, May the 6th of 2012, I got a phone call the next day. I believe it was on that Saturday afternoon. It's Friday night when that happened. Saturday afternoon or that Monday morning, I got a call from Carillion. And it's a clinic here. I had never been to it. I'm not even sure where it is today. She did, this nurse gave her name, but I had no reason at the moment. It kind of stunned me. She was cluing me. She said, we saw you in here, and it was at the timeline I've told you, which is at night. I don't know if my doctor was aware of this. I believe she is, but this was. But this has to do with some murders that happened here, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, and it's scary for me because it's weird how people, if you tell the truth and it involves them wanting you shut up. There were 2 murders here, and right at the moment, I'm just going to put up the murder of Hannah Graham. Now, the murder of how that took place, she's an English girl. She was going to Charlottesville, and another student that went to Virginia Tech were killed supposedly by, this is very important, and believe me, there's some good Virginia State troopers they have called me, well, one of them, Nichols, Matthew, anyway, he's in prison for the murders, and it gets into another area that I was writing about in my book, and this will make sense to some of my followers, and I'm not in good shape right at the moment, all right? I can't remember, Jesse Matthews, I think's his name. That was it. Okay, he was supposed to kill the 2 girls, and it was horrible, and I don't mean to scare anybody. I don't know how, if I ever make it, okay?